Good morning. Welcome to this morning's first of a three-part series for Acquisition 102. This is Victoria Beal with the Ohio LTAP Center, which is a part of the Ohio Department of Transportation. And I'm so pleased to have with me this morning two of my colleagues from our real estate office, Sean Crawford and Wayne Pace, who will be presenting this series for you. In a few seconds, I'll be turning things over to Sean, but I want to go over a couple of housekeeping items first. Hopefully you have found the GoToWebinar panel on your computer and are able to access controls in that panel. One of the things we would like is for you to put any questions that you have in the question box and submit them in that fashion. We'll be addressing those as time permits throughout the presentation. And we will also be providing those to both Sean and Wayne for a written response after the sessions are completed. The other item I wanted to point out is that in the handouts section of the GoToWebinar box, we do have two handouts for you. First is a copy of the slides for today, and then the second is an index of the additional handouts that will be referenced during the course. So with that, I'll be monitoring the question box, and if you do run into any technical difficulties, please feel free to put questions in there as well. If you figured out how to do the raising hands function in GoToWebinar, that's great, but we won't be using that function. So if you put your hand up, I'll probably just put it back down for you. Just find that question box and put your questions in there. So I believe that is all I have, gentlemen. Are you ready?
Yes, we are.
Great, it's all yours.
Well, thank you, Victoria. This is Wayne Pace. I'd like to welcome all the participants that are here for Acquisition 102A. We thought we would do this session because I know that it was originally scheduled for the 21st. And so instead of doing a face-to-face, we thought we'd keep it on schedule and do a virtual. So Sean will be talking today about the session 1, and I will be talking on the next 2 days on session 2 and session 3. Okay, Sean, you can take over from here.
All right, thank you, Wayne. Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone is staying safe and healthy at home, even though we're all probably ready to go back to work. So welcome to Acquisition 102. This is session 1. Sorry you guys have to sit through this if you've been mandated. I'm sure most people are here willingly, but the minions feel your pain. It's just a quick course outline of what we're going to be talking about here today. We've only got an hour, so we've kind of broken the class up a little bit differently than we usually do. We're going to be talking about the requirement for acquisition notice, no negotiations until FMVE has been established, the initial offer of compensation to the owner, and offer subsequent to the original offer. Purpose of the course is to prepare for the initial negotiation visit and document the negotiation process over the next 3 days. That's what we'll be talking about. The course will provide you with complete examples and current forms used as part of the negotiation process. Some of our examples were removed for the purpose of online because it's just, some of them were going to be difficult to articulate through the webinar. So why are you negotiating with the property owner? Of course, that's pretty simple. People want to build projects, and we need to acquire right-of-way so that people are able, contractors can get on the right-of-way that was needed for the project and begin the construction phase. If we are not able to do that on time, of course, you're going to have a bunch of people calling you, wondering why you couldn't acquire your right-of-way on time. Excuse me. But also the project may be delayed, and it could impact the construction phase until the right-of-way is controlled. Construction costs could increase because the contractor has to work around the non-secured right-of-way. And construction costs could increase because the contractor files delay claims for the non-secure right-of-way. We also are here to provide property owners all of their rights as provided by law, regulation, and procedures. Of course, when this doesn't happen, we may be in violation of the law. Project funding may be jeopardized if we have a project with federal funds and we don't comply with federal laws and regulations. Feds could potentially pull the funding for the project. Things were not always this regulated, and laws have been passed to protect the public against abusive agencies. All right, so we're expected to acquire right-of-way as fast as possible in a manner that's compliant with laws, regulations, and policies. So to do this, we need to have quality plans. We need to have you folks who are well trained and competent and productive in the acquisition process, and very good communication throughout the entire process. Good communication among the acquisition agent and their management, as well as the acquisition agent and the property owners. Acquisition occurs only by two ways. Of course, what we prefer is to have an agreement on price, followed by closing where funds are dispersed to the owner, and the owner conveys the property rights needed for the project to ODOT via an instrument. The second way, and the non-preferable way, although of course it's inevitable in what we do, is appropriation, the process when ODOT exercises its right of eminent domain given by the Ohio Constitution. ODOT takes possession of the property it needs for the highway project by depositing the fair market value estimate into the court in compliance with section 163.06B of the Ohio Revised Code. Possession does not occur immediately if the structure was occupied. ODOT must wait 60 days after the service of summons to take possession of an occupied structure. Appropriation allows ODOT possession, but actual change of the ownership doesn't occur until the case is settled. Right of entry, not an acquisition, but every now and then we do come into situations where we need a right of entry to get the project certified. I'm not going to get in depth. We're going to talk about these in acquisition 103, which we hope will be a live course, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So a right of entry is a contract where the owner permits ODOT to have possession of the area needed for the project and money is exchanged. If money is not exchanged, it's not a valid contract. Requirement for acquisition notice covered under section 5201 of our real estate manual. So as soon as feasible, ODOT has to notify the property owner in writing of our intention to acquire the property and inform them of their basic protections provided by law. All these citations where this is covered. So how do we implement these requirements? Once the title report is complete and the owner is known, we send the introductory letter to the property owner, along with the brochure when ODOT needs your property. The introductory letter can be sent via regular mail. All other notices must be sent via certified mail or be personally delivered. All right, so this is what the introductory letter looks like. When you pull it up on our website, the gray fields are what is to be modified. Of course, you insert the name of the property owner. Excuse me. Sorry, excuse me. Name of the property owner, county route section, description of the project. So what is the project? If you have a culvert replacement project, then for this transportation facility is a culvert replacement. Just insert whatever the description of your project is on that line. Here's an example of a form that's been filled out. Pretty self-explanatory here again. I forgot that that is actually the one we use for the example as a culvert replacement. People who will be filling this out, usually district real estate administrator signs these and has them sent out, but it's whoever has been designated to sign these and send out is acceptable. This is a look at the ODOT brochure when ODOT needs your property. If you're not familiar with the brochure, I recommend to be familiar with these before you start talking with property owners about what is in here, because I'm sure they will look at it. So it talks about the property owner's basic protections, the estimate of compensation, settlement, relocation assistance program, appropriation rights, retention of improvements, an FAQ section, and a map of ODOT district offices. All right, so we're not permitted to initiate negotiations until fair market value estimate has been established. Of course, everybody knows FMVE is fair market value estimate. The acquiring agency establishes the amount believed to be fair compensation and offers this to the property owner for the rights to be acquired for the transportation projects under eminent domain. All right, so there's a couple of forms that we are able to establish FMVE on. The first is the RE22. RE22 has a few sections. Of course, the first is land. Is there a fence, trees, other improvements? Was there a building? Were there any damages? Of course, the review appraiser will sign here. After the review appraiser has signed, the agency's authority to establish FMVE will sign. For ODOT, it's either the district real estate administrator and certain realty specialist managers. But FMVE is not established until this is signed. So when you get these in, just check to make sure that's been signed. Just happens a lot where it's just an accident that they forgot to sign, but just make sure they get that signed. Second form that we establish FMVE is a value analysis. This is also known as a waiver of appraisal. We are able to use this for parcels that are $10,000 or less. We actually have a new form. This one is still being used, but there's a new value analysis that is in circulation now. So I don't have an example of that pulled to show you now, but our website does have it if you wanted to look at that. But again, similar to the RE22, if the agency authority has not established FMVE, and FMVE has not been established, you need to get that signed before you make an offer to the property owner. Victoria, before I go to the next section, do you have any questions yet?
You do not.
Okay, thank you. All right, the initial offer of compensation to the owner is covered in section 5201.03 of the real estate manual. Before any acquisition functions can begin, districts must ensure that funds have been encumbered For the cost of appraisals, task orders with consultants, and property costs, funds have to be available to pay the property owner the date of the offer. And now we're going to take a look at the notice of intent to acquire and good faith offer. Notice of intent to acquire and good faith offer is used as the offer to purchase the property rights from the owner that is subject to the power of eminent domain. Sorry about that. Course is commonly known as the NIAGFO. It's divided into two parts. Notice of intent to acquire is covered on the Ohio Revised Code 163.04A. Good faith offer is ORC 163.04B. As part of the offer, the owner is provided a notice of intent to acquire, again, no less than 30 days before the filing of the appropriation petition. So all owners have 30 days to consider an offer before we are able to file for an appropriation. This offer must be either personally delivered or delivered via certified mail. If you happen to go to this section, 163.041 of the Ohio Revised Code, you'll find that it looks identical to our notice of intent to acquire form. All right, now the good faith offer, 163.04B, provides the owner with a written good faith offer, of course, not less than 30 days before filing an appropriation petition. The owner is to be provided with a copy of an appraisal or waiver of appraisal, or that is also known as the value analysis. All right, this is notice of intent to acquire and good faith offer form. You've got your project identifier. This is just the form under 163.041. Parcel and interest to be acquired. So this part will be modified by the acquisition agent. If you have, for example, this is parcel 4WD, talks about what a WD is. If you're not familiar with our take types, our WDs or WLs or SH, LA, you can go into ODOT section 3200, and that manual describes all of our different takes and their definitions, and that's where you can go to get some inspiration to fill this section out. Right. Legal description, this is just describing, letting them know that it is included with the offer. Right here, the only part that needs to be filled out is the parcel 4WD. Again, nothing needs to be filled out here. This is just talking about the good faith offer, and the notice of intent to acquire is the ODOT fair market value estimate. This lets them know that they have 30 days to accept or reject the offer. Then we get into their rights that we must make an offer to them. We will provide a written offer supported by an appraisal or valuation. We have to let them know that they do not have to accept the offer, and ODOT doesn't have to agree with their demands. This lets them know that they're to be provided with the appraisal at the first negotiation visit. This section does need to be completed by the acquisition agent. This just lets that property owner know what has been provided to them in regards to the highway plans and right-of-way plans. So what pertinent information does the property owner need to see in order to understand what is happening to their property. There will be more courses, including highway plan reading, for the acquisition agent to understand what all needs to be included for the initial visit to the property owner. And this talks about the plan letter attachment. Plan letter attachment goes into detail about what is happening to the property, describes the take, where it's located, its size, its shape, has it adversely impacted any improvements or any improvements being taken, new drainage, new grade, slopes, all will be talked about in the plan letter. This is just letting them know that the plan letter is attached to the document. ODOT's brochure, when ODOT needs your property. Of course, you have to let them know that they have the right to seek the guidance of an attorney, real estate appraiser, or other person of their choice. Of course, you put the current governor's name, current director. This lets them know that ODOT has the right to appropriate if an agreement cannot be reached. This lets them know that ODOT will appropriate the parcel and gain possession of the right-of-way. Section 12 lets them know that if they are not satisfied with the deposit, they can file an answer with the court with the withdrawal of the deposit subject to others' interests. Section 13, the owner may request a trial by jury. The owner may testify at the trial. If the property was agricultural use, if a jury award is more than 150%, property owner would be entitled to recover attorney fees and litigation costs. And the property owner also has the right to have a non-binding mediation on the value of the property, but it must be submitted in writing within 10 business days from the time they receive the offer. This is the good faith offer section of the NIAGFO. So real property to be acquired, you'll pull all of this information from either the RE22 or the value analysis. Real property to be acquired, damages to the property, temporary construction easement, and the total. Now, if you so choose, if you have zeros, these can be completely eliminated to where you'll just have real property and the total. The section below, the section below is in regard to tenant-owned improvements. We have to let them know that if there are tenant-owned improvements that haven't been included in this offer of compensation. If there are no tenant-owned improvements, simply put that there are no tenant-owned improvements identified. You can refer to the appraisal report or the RE95. RE95 is our inventory classification form. If there is an improvement, usually just describe or put what the improvement is. Just put that they will not be compensated for that improvement as the fee owner. That would be a separate offer to the tenant owner, known as a bill of sale. Excuse me. All right. ODOT may not obtain a release from the lender if the property is mortgaged. The owner is alerted that the lender may require part of the compensation. So ODOT's only required to get a mortgage release if the value is more than $25,000. But we have to let them know at that point, if we haven't secured a mortgage release, that it's their responsibility to do so. Last one is ODOT just cannot provide legal advice to the property owner. Last page of the NAGFO is a simple acknowledgement. Property owner signs this as an acknowledgement that they have received it. Does not indicate or imply in any way that the undersigned has waived or will waive any obligation the undersigned might have to ODOT's effort to acquire the undersigned property. All right, so we're getting to our first knowledge check. And at this point, Victoria is going to give you the questions, and she'll be putting up a poll. So select your answer, and then after the poll has closed, I will display the correct answer. So I'll go ahead and move to the next slide and let Victoria take over here.
Okay, I've got the first one up. Why are you negotiating with the property owner? Please select one, excuse me, to gain sufficient control of the right-of-way, make the right-of-way clear date, allow contractors to enter the property to begin the construction, all of the above. So go ahead and make sure you get your vote in there, because we're going to try to get hopefully we're going to shoot for 80% participation on these. People are voting, that's good. And while I'm waiting to hit 80%, I wanted to mention, Sean, that the other Sean Hillman, had put a comment in the question box saying that he believed the old VA form is no longer permitted and has been removed from the web page. Oh,
that's good to know. Thank you, Sean.
Yep. All right, we're at 80%, so I'm going to close the poll and share the results. 12% selected the first one to gain sufficient control of the right-of-way. 88% selected all of the above. So I'm going to hide those results, and that way you can share the correct answer.
All right. All of the above is the answer. We need all of these items from the property owners. All right, question 2.
I'm going to launch the next one, but I'm going to read this off real quick because it didn't all fit on the box. The acquisition agent needs to be knowledgeable about the laws, regulations, and policy to be able to acquire the right-of-way as fast as legally possible. And this is an easy one, guys. You just need to answer true or false. And while they're answering that one, we did have an additional comment that came in. RE 95-1, separation of BS value. I'm not quite sure where they were going with that. Maybe you understand.
Say the question again.
It's RE 95-1, separation of BS value.
Are they referring to a 22-1?
I'm not sure. Maybe Pat can put some more information in the box there.
So blue sheet is where we would separate out tenant values from the fee owners. So we don't cover that blue sheet in acquisition 102A. So I would, unfortunately, I don't have any reference material that I could put up during the webinar in regard to that. So, okay. Yeah, that's going to be the apportionment sheet on the 22-1 is where we separate out.
Okay, and I ended the poll because we got over 80%. 98% said true and 2% said false.
Very good.
I'm going to hide those results, and then we'll go to the next question. I'm going to launch that one. When a title report has been completed, what happens next? Make an offer, introductory letter is sent, prepare the RFL letter, contact the Attorney General's office. And then while that one's up, there was another question. Service of summons, who issues this? Is it appropriation? So while they're voting.
the Attorney General's office or whomever is handling the appropriation.
Okay. All right, we're almost over 80%. I'm going to go ahead. There we go. I'm going to close it. Share the results. 4% said make an offer. 93% said introductory letter is sent. 4% said prepare the RFL letter, and no one said contact the Attorney General's office. I'm going to hide that, and you can share with them the answers.
All right. Oops, sorry, my clicker's not working. There we go. All right, yeah, once the title report has been completed, the introductory letter is sent to the property owner. This is the first acquisition notice that we send, can be sent via regular mail.
Great. I'll launch the next one. Requirements for acquisition notice is covered under which citation? You have options of 49 CFR 24.102B, 48 CFR Part 6, Ohio Revised Code Section 532.06, or all of the above. And they are voting. So I'm going to work another question in here. Let's see, someone wanted to know the date of the new VA. So maybe Sean Hillman can go ahead and put that in there. And then Pat did clarify that yes, it was the blue sheet, the RE 22-1 is where the separation of value for the BS.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, all right, we're over 80%. I'm going to go ahead and close this poll and share it. And we had 28% that chose 49 CFR 24.102B, 2% chose 48 CFR Part 6, 16% chose the ORC section, and 55% chose all of the above. So I'm going to hide
They
the
went
poll
with the old
results.
adage. If all else fails, choose all of the above.
So you can share the answer there.
All right.
Great. All right. The introductory letter is sent to the property owner via certified mail, regular mail, priority mail, or none of the above. And while they're answering that one, we have another question. This is non-binding arbitration is within 10 days of the initial offer. It's a question, and they'd like for you to clarify.
I'll let Wayne handle that question because he actually handles all property owner
Owner objections.
Owner objections, yes.
Yeah, that's a little bit on the different side there when we get into binding agreements where our attorney generals would get more involved with that process. So the attorney generals, we would lean for them to get more of those involved with that. And gets to the owner objection, this is where by law the property owner has a right to object to the project, and they have within 10 days to voice that objection from the time they receive the offer. They have 10 days to object to the project or any parts of the project.
Great, and while you were doing that, I shared the poll results. So 39% said certified mail, 56% said regular mail, 2% picked priority mail, and 3% picked none of the above. So I'm going to hide the results so you can share the answer.
Right.
And we did have Sean Hillman chime in that according to the website, the latest revision of the VA form was posted on April 15th of 2020.
Oh, thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Sean.
All right, so majority of the people got that answer right, regular mail.
Very good.
And this is another true-false question. The acquisition agent may initiate negotiations prior to the establishment of fair market value. True or false? And while they're answering that one, Drew Gilmore had chimed in about the RE95 would be where we would initially identify improvements that may be owned by a tenant or a third party. I just wanted to read his comment off there.
That is correct.
Thank you, Drew.
All right, we're over 80%. You guys are getting quick at this. Good job. 2% said true and 98% said false. So I'm going to hide the results. There you go. 98% was correct.
Very good.
And I believe we have one more.
Think so.
Okay. What document is used to make the initial offer to a property owner affected by a highway project? Update good faith offer letter, summary statement offer letter, notice of intent to inquire and good faith offer, or all of the above? And while they're answering that, we have a question that came in about what is the difference between a right of entry and work agreement?
Yeah, so a right of entry is generally used for the purpose of getting on a project so we can build a project. A work agreement is voluntary. It's not work that has to be done for the project. Basically, if the property owner does not want to sign a work agreement for the work to be done, it's not performed. So the work agreement is not an acquisition for something that has to be done for the project.
Right, you'll find a lot of the work agreements being done for the benefit of the property owner more so for the department.
And I've put the results of this last poll up. No one chose the first one. 2% chose summary statement offer letter. 95% chose notice of intent to acquire and good faith offer. And 4% went for the all of the above.
Very good. So the 95% is probably right. All right. Yeah, the summary, I'm going to cover the updated good faith offer in a second, but the summary statement offer letter is only used for properties that we do not have appropriation authority for.
And I'm going to chime in one last time here before you continue on. Sean Hillman had put an additional comment in the question box saying work agreement cannot be used to clear right of way. Right of entry can.
Exactly right.
All yours, gentlemen.
All right, thank you. All right, last section that I have anyways. Offer subsequent to the original offer, section 5201.04 of the real estate manual. When another offer is required that's subsequent to the initial offer, which was the NIAGFO, the offer is either revised or updated. So I'm going to talk about the differences between the two. First, I'm going to talk about when we use a revised good faith offer. Revised good faith offer is again covered on section. It's covered under the Ohio Revised Code 163.04, and that's one of the main differences between the two subsequent offers, because the updated good faith offer is not covered under the Ohio Revised Code. Right. There's two ways, only two, when we will use a revised good faith offer. The agency becomes aware of indigenous conditions that could not have been discovered at the time of the initial offer. So you made the offer to the property owner, you arrive at the property owner's house, or you talk to them on the phone, they say, you guys didn't cover my septic tank, my leach field, something that is being impacted, but it was not appraised, it was just missed because we just couldn't see it. So that is an indigenous condition to the property, and we would make them a revised good faith offer. Second situation, probably a rare situation, is when the owner and ODOT exchange appraisals prior to filing the petition to appropriate. So the revised good faith offer is only covered under these two. If you have a different situation, then it's most likely going to be an updated good faith offer, and we're going to cover that shortly. So functions of the revised good faith offer: rescinds the original NIAGFO, rescinds the initial good faith offer, presents a revised offer to the owner based on a newly established fair market value estimate, delivered to the property owner personally or by certified mail, and the owner has 30 days to consider. So the clock is going to start over if you have to make a subsequent offer. Excuse me, 1 second.
And Sean, while you're taking that second, it's really important to get that offer out as soon as possible, because you never know where you have to go back and rescind the offer and that time clock has to restart back again. And that can play a major role in project management. Go ahead, Sean.
Exactly. Very good. Thank you. So this is what the revised good faith offer looks like. It does reference the original offer and the amount. Then it goes right into the revised good faith offer. It's going to tell you if it's going to tell the property owner again if there are or are not tenant-owned improvements, and then it has how long they have to accept the offer. We're able to insert a specific date into that field, but we still tell them that they have at least 30 days. All right. So the updated good faith offer is typically initiated by a plan change. District offices will have the appraisal updated or get a new appraisal. Usually as a result of it could be a result of a material change to the property. So was the property appraised and then the property owner planted 10 ornamental trees or built a shed, and now the offer has to be revised to cover that improvement. Another example of an updated good faith offer is if a period of more than 2 years has elapsed from the time of the original offer. People think that is crazy, but when you work with railroads, that happens every now and then. Just the nature of railroads being extremely slow. All right, so the functions of the updated good faith offer are exactly the same as the functions of the revised good faith offer. References the original NIAGFO, rescinds the offer, presents an updated offer to the owner based on the new FMVE. It still has to be delivered personally or certified, and the owner still has 30 days to consider. All right, updated good faith offer. You will notice that this form is almost identical to the revised good faith offer. It's just titled differently. The reason that the updated good faith offer was created is because the revised good faith offer is so specific under the Ohio Revised Code that it only has those two conditions where it can be utilized. The indigenous characteristics to the property that weren't discovered prior to the offer, or the owner and ODOT exchange appraisals. Again, I'm just reminding you that those are the only two conditions where the revised good faith offer would be used. All others are covered under the updated good faith offer. So again, it's going to reference the original offer amount, goes right into the offer, covers tenant-owned improvements again, if there are or are not any, what is the date that they have to consider, and we still let them know that they have 30 days to accept or reject. All right, so getting into the second knowledge check, gonna pass it over to Victoria, and this is a really short one. It was just on the last few slides. So go ahead and let Victoria go.
Thanks. I'm going to go ahead and put the first one up. Which subsequent offer is regulated by Ohio Revised Code 163.04? Update good faith offer, notice of intent to acquire and good faith offer, introductory letter, revised good faith offer. And then I have a comment that came into the question box. It says, during this COVID-19 time, postal carriers have been signing the green cards for certified mailings. How is this being addressed by ODOT and the Attorney General?
So this question has come up a lot, and Drew can comment if anything has changed, but the last time I heard is that we still need to attempt to deliver it via certified mail, and it'll be handled on a case-by-case basis if for some reason it cannot be.
Okay, and I've shared the poll results. Update good faith offer had 15%. Notice of intent to acquire and good faith offer is 10. And revised good faith offer is 75%. I'm going to hide those so you can share the.
All right, thank you.
Well, you know what? It doesn't seem like the. Let me try sharing and hiding again. I think I might need you to reshare your screen. I'm sorry.
Oh,
It seems to have hung up on that question.
Okay.
So.
Sharing.
And while you're doing that, Drew did chime in that yes, that is correct.
Okay, great. All right, so I'll have to hit stop showing screen.
Yes, and then reshare your screen.
Okay.
Thank you. There we go.
Is that better?
Yes, I can see it, so hopefully everybody else can too.
Yes.
All right, we'll click on to the next question.
All right. Get that last one launched for us. And then offers that are subsequent to the original good faith offer include language to rescind the original offer, true or false. And while they're answering that one, we had a pretty lengthy question come in from Jim View. Is it a requirement of law that the appropriation letter be sent to the owner prior to filing for appropriation? If you're receiving all offers, NAGFOs back as undeliverable via U.S. Postal Service certified mail, there is no real benefit in sending the appropriation letter. Is it a requirement of law or policy that the second appropriation letter be sent before filing? And he said, thank you.
Good question. I'm going to let Wayne answer that.
Yeah, we're required to send a notice to the property owner that we're going to be filing them to appropriation. I will follow up with if that follows under 163.01 to 163.22, but I will follow up with that question and respond back to him.
Sounds great. And I did put the results up. It says 95% true, 5% false. I'm going to try hiding that and hopefully that works. Yeah, it did.
All right, very good.
Great. And then Drew chimed in with policy requirement is what he said in the question box. Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay, thank you, Drew.
Thank you, Drew.
Thank you for the question, Jim. That is the end of Acquisition 102A, Session 1. We do have a few more minutes before the hour expires, so if there are any more questions, we would be happy to take them. We'll wait a minute or so, and if there are none, then we'll go ahead and hop off here. But thank you guys thank to everyone for being a part of our first experiment with the webinar, and hope everybody stays safe and well, and hope you learned a little bit out of this, or at least got an idea of how to put on a webinar if you need to do one. So thanks everybody. Are there any questions, Victoria?
Actually, we have a couple kudos that came in for you. Great job, guys, and it went really smooth, and they're very impressed.
Oh, thank you,
everyone.
Good. We have two individuals who raised their hand in the attendee panel, and we aren't taking questions that way. We would ask if you have questions to put them in the question box. So I'll give them a second to put any questions they have in the question box. Otherwise, I'll just take it that they were giving you both high fives. So, and while we're waiting for that to see if they had any questions, I will also mention that when we wrap things up, you're going to be prompted into a survey. And we do ask that you please, if you can, take a moment and fill that out. Hopefully it won't take any longer than that. It's just 3 multiple choice questions, and we would appreciate that. There was a comment about the slides. The slides are in the handout section of the GoToWebinar box. There's a panel that says handouts, and you can download them from there. I will also email them out to everyone who was on the webinar shortly after ending it. There was an additional question that came in. It says, would you allow an update GFO for change to property after the introductory letters were sent out?
After the introductory letter was sent out? So if the introductory letter is sent out, it really
doesn't affect the offer.
because once it's in regard to once the NIAGFO is sent out. So I don't know if they want to clarify the question or not, but if the introductory is sent out and the notice of intent to acquire and good faith offer has not been sent out, there would be no updated good faith offer necessary.
Okay, and we do have the names of who has asked the questions, so you can always,
Okay.
follow up with them directly. You
Okay.
have some more kudos that have come in. It says, thank you, high five indeed. Great review of material, thanks, and this worked well, exceeded expectations. So
Great.
I think with that, since we don't have any other questions coming in, we thank you both for your time. We know it's very valuable, and thank you everyone who attended. We had 73 people on today. That is very
Fantastic.
impressive.
Excellent.
So we look forward to having you on tomorrow's webinar, and we will talk to you then. Thank you,
All right.
everyone.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thanks.